Okay, so I had a mentor and she said, the main reason you can't see your superpower is because it comes so easy to you. You assume everyone else has it too. They don't. Hey, I'm Lacie Jaye, and this is Hey Lacie Jaye, the podcast where we take a whole ass approach to life. And today we are finishing up our series on the intro into human design. And today we're talking about gifts. So if you have your chart, or you've at least looked at your human design chart that you grabbed either from online or if you grabbed it off of my website, the gifts are the gates that are the numbers that are on your chart that are circled in and filled in. Those are your gifts. That's where we pull your gifts from. And the gifts are also just part of that purpose, right? It's what naturally comes to you. It's, if you're a generator like me, it's like this lights me up, and then I look at the gifts and how that can all apply, how I can apply myself to those things that light me up. So there are a lot of gifts. And so I'm going to actually take what's called my incarnation cross, and I'm going to pull those numbers and talk about those specific gifts, how they've applied to my own life. They really excite me. These 4 are some of my favorite. I think I actually added an extra one in my notes because I thought that they were just, I love them. And here's the reality is I actually wasn't really looking at my gifts a whole lot over the last 2 years. It's been more of a recent thing that I've dove into the gifts. I was so focused on how to understand how to trust myself with my authority, my intuition, how I best make decisions, because it was such a key point in my life when I found human design to learn to trust myself. So now that I've really been playing around with human design, I started diving a lot more into the gifts, and it is so fun to see how they show up in my life. And so we're going to just go through them. So I have the gift 26, which is knowing the right way to say things. This couldn't be more true in my life. Ultimately, I could be the ultimate salesperson because I know how to say things the perfect way to Susie, and then I can turn around and have the conversation with Jen, and I can say, selling maybe the same thing, but I know how to have the conversation with him in a way that essentially sell, right? Not that I'm trying to sell or be scammy. It's just this natural ability that I have. And it is so true. I think for a long time, I noticed it before I fully understood human design, how I used it in kind of a negative way. And the way that I would say that I would have used it, which, not to get into things, that there's something called Gene Keys that actually talks about the shadow side of, say, the gifts. And I actually love how they dive into that. But it was kind of a manipulative way. Like growing up, I would be like, I know exactly what I need to say to get my way. And I was an only child, so that probably didn't help. But I could use it in a very manipulative kind of way. But as a gift, I now see that I can really connect with so many people. And as long as it's something that it's my truth, it's something that I care about, that I can talk about it, I can talk about it. And I cannot shut up about it. And I can fully understand this person and where they're coming from. And then I can also understand and have a conversation with this person. It's kind of cool. The reality is I just want the best for everyone. I want everyone to succeed. I want everyone to live their best life. I want everyone to feel good in who they are. And so with that, there's also this aspect within the gift of I love sharing other people's gifts. When I see a gift in someone, even if it's very similar, say there's a couple of human design leaders that I want to bring on the podcast to talk to, because you might actually connect with them better and they may have the gifts that you need, and there's really not a lot of competition, because I am meant to serve my people. And if my people also need to be served by someone else, that's okay too. So the more I actually share things that I love, and because that is essentially what it is I know how to say things because I'm loving the things that I'm doing, the more that my gift is activated. You can tell oh my gosh, I get so excited. And then there's this energy, and because I'm a generator, I'm this bubbly, sparkly energy, right? And then people want to be around that energy. They might not even want like happy juice, right? I don't know if they care about happy juice, but you know what? I love happy juice and I get so excited talking about it because what it has done for me, I truly love happy juice. People a lot of times will buy because of the energy that I bring and because they're like, oh my gosh, if she loves it, I want to try it too. And the gift in that is that it truly has to come from a place of loving something. And so part of that, though, there is a fear of, what do I say, the fear of being passionate. There's that fear of rejection. And it's very true. I have felt that. But the more I grow into myself, the more I'm just like, whatever. Lacie is not going to shut up about her skincare and her happy juice for a while. It's why I love affiliate marketing, because I can share what I love when I want to share it. And I'm so lit up and I could talk about it for days and days and days. When I share something, I mean it. Like there is stuff that I shared in the past that no longer work for me. And I don't, why would I share it? It's not something that lights me up. It's not something that I love. Can't talk about it. Anyways, so that is the gift of 26. The next gift that I have is 45, and that is a resourceful solution. So I like to make the most out of situations. The notes I took are like, meet you where you're at, when you need help, and then I have the steps to help you get there. And so, or help to improve. So when I'm in a conversation with someone, I'm like, oh my gosh, these are your missing steps. This is how you can get there. This is like maybe the encouragement that you need. I think this works really well in being a life coach and wanting to help coach women to help them feel more confident in who they are, whatever that journey is for them. It's why I have a Rise and Radiate. It is like, how can I help create these steps that are going to help you? But when I am in a conversation with someone like one-on-one, it's very much using my intuition. It's using this feeling that I have. And I'm like, oh, I'll spew something off. Half the time, I have to say, half the time it has to be more of a channeled thing. Cause I'm like, what did I just say to you? And they're like, oh my gosh, it's exactly what I needed. I'm like, okay, good thing we need to start recording these, because it just like, I just have this inner knowing of like being able to like help. The problem with that is a lot of times we can focus on what's missing instead of actually seeing what's there. But in my gift and what I love is that I wrote it down from my mentor, is that the glass is not only half full, but then I can see action steps to turn it into a full glass. Like that is the definition of gift 45. And it is about embracing the challenges that come my way or come your way if you have 45, so that you can help make something better, so that you can create the action steps that someone may need or that you may need that end up helping other people in the world. So embrace those challenges. And I'm telling myself this because over the last 6 years, sharing my confidence journey, I'm like, oh, it makes sense that I created a Rise of 5. It makes sense that I want to create a Rise and Radiate coaching containers to help women. Like I have these actionable steps that I'm able to help someone get from here to here. And so it's just cool, like as you start to understand yourself and you start to see, the more you listen to your authority and you start listening to your strategy and living by your strategy and how all of that mixes together, and then you start to see how these gifts really play a role in your life. Gift 6 is the gift of intimacy. I would say that this one has showed up so much over the past year, but really understanding it over the last couple of months. The gift 6 is that you have this natural warmth to let your guard down. Naturally, I'm a generator. I'm sparkly. I do already have this like big energy. And then I have this warmth that brings people in. And the thing that has been happening the most is people will tell me something, like complete strangers will be like, blah, 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 blah. And they look at me and they're like, I don't know why I just told you that. And I just smile. And sometimes if it's the right timing, I'll be like, honestly, it's just a gift that I have. You are not the only one. Don't be afraid. You know, I'm just here. And so that gift, though, was once I started letting my own guard down and sharing my story and being vulnerable and who I am and actually allowing that gift to show, then others feel like that they can let their guards down. They can also become their more like authentic self. So that is, again, where like coaching is key. Like people share things with me, and it's really amazing because I watch how my other gifts, like by them sharing and letting their guard down, and then I can see my other gifts coming into play and to be like, well, if this is happening, here's your steps, right? Here's how the gift of 45 steps in, and can give them steps on their life. I'm using my hands a lot. But the biggest, thing with this is watching for people pleasing. Oh man, because, and I grew up such a people pleaser. I didn't even realize it until you're like really in it and you're like, whoa, I just tried to please everyone. I'm still dealing with that and letting people down. The other thing is pushing people away. To be really aware, if you are starting to push people away and you have this gift of intimacy, where you're actually meant to be vulnerable in the capacity that you're meant to be, right? I'm going to share stuff that maybe some people never would, but you're going to use your gift in a different way that's perfect for your people that I never would. Really, truly, like being aware of that. Like you're really not meant to live as a hermit away from people, pushing people away. You're actually meant to be in people's lives. And then obviously sharing of like careful with misusing that, right? The idea that if people are coming to you and let their guard down, can you take that and attack them with it later on, or backstab them, or whatever that may be? I think as a kid, as we're all growing up and we don't quite understand these gifts, we're going to have some of the shadow side come up where we don't even know how to use that gift. We're growing into these gifts. So that is gift 6. So the next gift in my incarnation cross is the gift 36, turning darkness into light. It's so true. The thing with this gift is you feel life deeply. You feel it with other people. You see it with other people. Life is this dance of so beautiful and so heartbreaking all at the same time. And you feel and hold both of that. The thing about this gift, and at first I was like, why are all these things always happening to me? Even like my self-love journey, right? It's going into the shadows and then bringing some of that stuff to light to show like it's actually not that bad. Here's the gift in it. Here's the gold. I always said, here's the gold. And it's so funny because they say like the turning darkness into light is true alchemy, right? And it's this alchemy that I have, and it's just being able to understand. And for years, even before understanding that I had this gift, I would always say, when you are by yourself, when you feel alone, when you're in that darkness, you are by yourself, and that darkness feels deep, and the feelings that you have within you can just overtake your mind and your body, and you start to believe whatever this darkness is bringing up in you. But when you can take that darkness and you bring just a little bit of light to it, it's no longer what it is, and you can actually see it for what it is. You can name it. You can say, actually, this doesn't have the grip that it had on me when it was in pure darkness. And so I always had this like thing where I'm like, gosh, like if I can just share my story, right? If I can just be vulnerable and let my own guard down, if that helps one other person feel seen or heard and not feel so alone, and it shines a little bit of light into their darkness, because in their mind, they were doing this part of life alone. And now they're not, because someone just heard my story and they're like, wait, she's doing it too, right? It shines that light. It brings it in from the shadows into the light, and showing that, maybe this thing isn't as bad. But with that, you truly have to live life with such an open heart and being willing to feel hurt and have that heartbreak. And it's a wild ride. That gift 36 it's true. It's kind of crazy. There's a beauty in understanding all people, which again, I can have a conversation that's one direction. Maybe it's one topic and it's one person's side of you, or one person's like reasoning for it. And I could be like, oh my gosh, I totally get it. And then I could talk to this person over here and they have the complete opposite view of what this person just said. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally get it. I understand you. It's just, I just have this like way to understand where people are coming from. And so one thing that I share is, even in these podcast episodes, it's like, take the gold nuggets. Like there are gold nuggets in everything in life. Like even the shit, you're going to find the gold somehow in it. If you're around me, I'm going to find it. And it's just how it is. I have been very much looked down upon. Like, not everything is so rainbow and sunshine. It's like, no, it's not. But I can very much find like the lesson learned within certain situations. And so the thing about this gift is you go into the darkness, you mine the gold, and then you take that gold and let it be and shine it to the world and to help lift the world up. And so it's a really beautiful gift. One other gift that I wanted to share, if you know you yourself or just learning more about the gifts, is gift 46, which is embodiment. And I wanted to share this one as an extra piece because I'm like, this is nuts. Like if you look at my life and over the last 6 years, I've been on this self-love, confidence, trying to figure out how to love my body after majority of my life, absolutely hating what I saw, hated who I was, hated every aspect of myself, punched myself in the mirror, literally hated who I was. I have the gift of 46, which is embodiment. And that is, you are here to learn how to love your body, love the magic of life within it. And I just was like, of course I have this gift. Of course this totally makes sense. Like part of my journey is to learn to love my body and what it is and all that it has to offer, and seeing it in such a beautiful way, which, you know, I tell people 6 years ago, if you would have met me, I am not me, like a totally different person, way more confident, way more excited, way more self-love and just loving other people. And just, honestly, it's so refreshing. I love actually being able to share it. But the biggest thing that blocks this particular gift is, you know, body struggles. So embodiment, but if you have body struggles, that gift doesn't get to shine. If you feel like it's a burden, you don't trust yourself because you don't trust decisions that you're making, your desires, your food, your sensuality, the sexual part of who you are, this gift can't really shine. And that's so interesting because all of those things are what I have been learning and embodying over the last 6 years. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to help other women feel so confident in who they are. And maybe I can give them, instead of 6-year journey, it's a 2-year journey. Like it's still going to take time. And then again, just because of the world that we live in, if you have gift 46, it's a lot of unlearning the messaging that we have heard with our bodies and who women need to be. You know, we need to be a certain size, we need to be a certain weight. Now, I will say this gift is not just about weight or loving your body. It could be the love for the human body. So you might be obsessed with like human anatomy and physiology and like how the eyeball works. And it's just usually that there are pieces of the body that you love, and there's a gift within that. So the biggest thing is helping to really like make friends with your body, love your body. And then with that is the connection in life is such a huge part of this gift. It can be your best friend, is connecting and just not only connecting with yourself, but then connecting with other people. So that's a little bit about gifts. Gifts are really incredible. If you want to learn more, book the one-on-one self-discovery call with me. That way we can dive into your gifts, see how they can be used. It's truly there to help you unlock the confidence of who you are and your design, and using human design as an incredible tool in your own journey and the way that you want to use it. Again, if you have not gotten your free human design chart, you can get the link in the show notes or go to heylaciejaye.com/human-design, and that will give you the free chart. Now, just make sure that you put your exact birth time in so that your gates and your channels, and there's so much more to human design, that, you know, they're correct. And so that we can really dive into your chart and really start exploring and having conversation. It's one of my favorite things because of the light bulb moments that people have in understanding who they are, from understanding their energy type to their gifts to their authority and all of the in between. This, like what I have shared in these last few episodes, really are the beginning stages, the entry points into human design, the basics and the building blocks, then you can go explore even more. And it's just really fun. So thank you so much for being here. If you loved this podcast, make sure to share it with at least one friend. And if you haven't already left a review, please do so. It just helps me to get the message out and find more women and like-minded people to be a part of this community.